This is an unexpected review, and it is very late, 15 years too late.
You're late.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
But maybe it's actually on time, because there's a new version of the Shire UCS, but really is just a bag-in party coming this week on April 2nd. And you can't wait to compare the two of these and see how this one holds up to that one. And honestly, I think the interior of this might be a little better than the coming one, just based off pictures. I don't nearly talk nearly enough about LEGO Lord of the Rings, and how much I really love, how passionate I am about LEGO Lord of the Rings. I don't share enough of the sets that I love, or set ideas, or mocks that I really want to get into, so maybe I'll cut it off the way. I'm passionate about a lot of different things. I don't share the Lord of the Rings nearly enough. So I'm hoping to do a couple videos a year at least, and kind of share a little bit of that. That being said, this is 79003, The Unexpected Journey. And this is a back end from The Hobbit, but it takes place in both Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. A couple big issues right at the front is the brittle brown. As we look at this through 2025, the brittle brown is failing. Getting some of these pieces that are no longer made is very difficult, and I had to buy them multiple times just to get them in, and many times they come in broken. Some of my garden, you also notice, is not much of a garden right now because, it's failing. It's the brittle brown is breaking around it. This didn't have very many stickers, I think 6 or 7. I got the maps, the book, and the fence pieces, in the back of the bench. Like, not too bad. And it's only missing a couple key features other than being big enough for the full company. Now, of course, if you did want to buy the whole company, you either had to bricklink them like I did, or bricklink most of them, or buy all the sets, which would have cost you quite a bit of money. Probably today, not too bad. A whole wave of this at original release was about $300. Now, if you don't know what The Hobbit is, it's from Middle Earth, in the same universe as Lord of the Rings. It follows a company of dwarves that take back their home, and they lose their weapons along the way. Weapons and armor captured, all of that. It's a fun story that is very important to me. And one of the things, look at these, I felt like, expecting big molded weapons. We got a brand new Sting, but that was all that LEGO did for a brand new molded weapon. Now in 2025, we're taking revisits and getting more detailed, accurate weapons to our characters. Rivendell did a great job with this, with Narsil, and so many, and Gimli's axes, and there's so much that they've done. This did come with 6 minifigures, being Gandalf, Bilbo, Beaufort, Bomber, Dwalin, and Balin. Dwalin being my favorite, of course. Now, I am missing some pieces, so we will take it with the caveat. I will explain and show off what they had, but I do not have them. I'm missing a pretzel, some food, Dwalin's hammer, and a couple of knives that came in the set. If you take a look at the front, it has a gorgeous stone walkway that leads right up the door. You have this fence. It's just very nice. You can have Bilbo sit on the fence, kind of more like stands, or on the fence, on the bench, so Gandalf can come and invite him on a journey here. But the fence design is really simple, but it works so well. I do kind of feel like that the fence was missing that mailbox, though. A couple pieces to kind of would have been nice. Now, at the time, midi legs did not exist, so everyone is the same height with short legs. You have all these green plates, for the grass. You have a bush. You have a barrel for all the fruits from the garden, fruits and veggies. And if you want to see inside, you can take off the top. It's kind of modular. I would use different pieces on the inside so that it's a little bit easier to take this off without fighting with it too much. You do have a nice curved windows, which the design on how you do those, they kind of in like a groove, and it's a lot of fun making that. And you got a curved window piece. You only have a couple. They're here. They're on the left side and the front. And then you got the nice round door. It was critical you got the round door in there. And the piece that they used has a very nice print on it with a little mark on it for Gandalf marking it, so the dwarves know where to come. And you got some pantry space in here, like little shelves with little, bottles, and then you got Sting on the shelf. On the other side, right behind the door, you have, now if you move Bilbo back. Now, it didn't come with a set, but I think it fits. It was a poly bag that I like the multicolored bathrobe Bilbo, and I like to put him inside this set because I think it's the only one that fits. Now, of course, in the films, bagging is so big. You got the pantry, you have Bilbo's bedroom, you have the kitchen, the big, large dining room table. Well, actually, it was a small table that they put together so they could fit all the dwarves. And this isn't big enough to fit all the dwarves. So if you want the whole Four Thorns company in here after you've bought them all, you can't quite fit them all in the set in its current state. But that's not really a problem for me here. We continue on. We talked about the broom. We have the fireplace. Then a little studio where he can write his Book of Westmark, which he'll hand down to Frodo, and Frodo will hand to Sam. You have a letter, which is probably the contract. Then you have some bottles and ink, and I think a very cool design. And you got more of the entryway on the inside there. I do kind of wish that the glory boxes, as it's called, he makes a very big deal about Feely and Keely wiping their feet on that. But a nice place they can all store their weapons or something like that while they go and have a good meal. Speaking of meals, we have enough space for 6 minifigures, which is exactly everyone that comes in the set. You can have Bilbo down, Gandalf, Dwalin, Balin. I do wish they had kind of mugs, because that's really, that they use a lot in film to drink their beer and all that, which I understand. Lego doesn't want, it's child friendly, so it's little chalices and some bottles make sense. Totally forgot to talk about the flowers on the windowsills. I think all of them look really great. You have different colors. I'm sure I'm missing another set of red ones. I feel like I've got way too many yellow ones, but maybe that is exactly what came with this. I just don't remember. Some of the stickered maps, which I put flat versus they designed it. And then you have a chest here, which is really the chest from the Troll Horde, which has a shovel. What Bill ends up with. We talked about the table. We can fit all minifigures in here. You just can't fit the whole Thorns company. So if you want to add Thor and some of the dwarves that aren't in this set in here, you'd have to expand this set, which Lego did in the Icon set coming on the 2nd. And you can stick the roof back on and stick some dwarves inside, and there you go. You can have your party. Your dwarves can trash the place, and it can be a good old grand time. Now, the minifigures. Very well designed. Bilbo comes with his Sting, brand new molded design. For the time, it looks really good and hasn't needed to change. It was perfect back then. And he has his tan shirt and overall combo going on, which is he wears throughout his journey. He does wear his red jacket at some point. This was a couple scenes where he's wearing this, and this is one of the sets that you can get this version in. Actually, maybe this is the only one that you can get this version. Yes, this version was exclusive to the set. The rest of them are red jacket or blue jacket. Lots of details. His hairpiece is perfect. I really feel like that you couldn't go wrong. It's a perfect hairpiece. And his face print, really, really... I believe that the shirt was also used for... No, actually maybe not. He's a really good minifigure. Then you get Gandalf. Well, mine seems to be maybe missing a cape that came with him, but he has the hat, and he has the walking stick, but no sword. And you get Beaufort here, which really, really one of my favorites. Now, I have a custom weapon that I like to give him that's much more accurate. I think it's made by Firestore, but Lego has the Lego one, which, works well as a pickaxe. It's nice. That's one of his weapons. He uses that pick. He's a dwarf, so he's a miner. He works in trade. Not from the royal family, but, and his torso has that bit, very accurate, very to how he appears in the Hobbit films. I know those aren't well regarded, which is why Lego's kind of touch sets. You have a rubbery hat that has little bits, the ends of his hair that are braided. It just captures the Jimmy Nesbitt as Beaufort in this very well. I really like how he looks. There's, all the minifigures. There's not one that I can say is bad from any of the Hobbit line. Here is a bomber. He's bigger, so Lego made this nice molded piece to make him look like he's twice the size of a regular dwarf, which he is. He's got a sausage, because my man loves him some food. He also has a pot here. Now, in the films, his weapons of choice are, unique, with a ladle and a spoon. So the pot here, I would have liked a ladle and a spoon, but you know what? I think I give him like a butcher and a spoon, and that's what he fights with, for me. But I do like the sausage here. Then, if you take the molded piece, you get more look at his face, which doesn't really change it doesn't really change too much, because they kind of, thicker chin and make him look like, but it just, this is really the way to go. It's the same kind of print, just with a little bit more wrinkles underneath, and he just looks really good. Next, we have Balin, the good, very Santa Claus looking, which is exactly what. Or he's an older dwarf. He's white. He's got a very nice face that's very wrinkly. He has lots of details, scars, and it shows his age. Then underneath his torso, very, very detailed. Like, there are intricate details on there. They're printed. His belt and just all of his robes. And he has a little cape here that's red. It's the stiffer cape, and also a short cape. And then the back has more of those details. And my favorite dwarf, so that's why he's last.
Dwalin. That's your sons.
Bilbo, Baggins, yours. But do we know each other?
No.
Is Dwalin. Now as I said, I'm missing his weapons, so I gave him an axe that I custom designed, which is custom to his actual, closer to design to his grasper and keeper axes. So if you didn't know, his axes were named. And he's got the tattoos on his head, which look really good. Now, LEGO did an excellent job. They put them on the back when they really go over the top of the head, but they didn't have a piece that went over the head at the time, or not one that they were commonly using. Definitely not one in this color, and so I think that choice is good. Like, even today, if they did that, I would not be upset. And his face has lots of scars, tattoos, or not, scars. He's taken an orc weapon or two to the face. His beard is a much shorter beard, but still long enough, still a worthy dwarven beard. He's got, and it continues. His headpiece is that beard in the front and the long hair in the back. He's going bald, so you got to cover that. But it looks really good. If you take that off, you can see the torso a little bit. He's got the axe holster on. On there. It doesn't come with the axes, unfortunately. Printed on there, very accurate. He's got the fur, little bits of fur, and all his different belt design. And he has that little. He's got his cape as well. Now his gets a little more pressed to his body versus the others because of his hairpiece, which is not a problem. It just keeps it tight. That's all I'm saying. And that is like all the minifigures. That is the set. Really, this is an excellent set. And honestly, even you're gonna pay as much as the new one for this. But if you love the dwarves, that's one thing that I feel like was kind of missing. Which I don't want to talk about too much because that's gonna be for that review. So. Hit subscribe and watch that when that comes out. Of the new bag in. I kind of give this a 8 out of 10 really. It's nearly perfect. Not missing much. A little more accurate weapons. Reddish brown that doesn't break. Not things that LEGO could have necessarily controlled back then or knew about. In 2025, that's kind of what I'm looking through. There isn't anything missing. It's a great set. For $70 back then, not bad. Now you're gonna pay over $200, closer to back end, the new back end prices. But let me know what you think. Right down in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like, and I got another Lord of the Rings LEGO video right over here for you.